Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I am Janice Barlow with Kids Count in Delaware at the University of Delaware, and we've got a small group today, but it's a good topic, so we're going to jump right in with our 1 o'clock start time. I want to thank you first for taking the time today to learn about the logistics of how to navigate our online Kids Count data center. And before we get to the meat of today's presentation, I'd like to quickly go through a few points about the Zoom platform that we're using today. First of all, this presentation is being recorded. We do plan on uploading the recording to our website so that others can also learn the navigation logistics. Because we're recording, I'd ask if you haven't already that each of you mute yourself during the presentation just to help us minimize background noise. If you will have the opportunity at the end to unmute yourself and ask questions. However, if you have questions during the presentation, again, we do ask that you keep the mute on for the background noise, but you can feel free to type your question into the chat box. I'll be monitoring that chat box while Christy is speaking, and so we'll be able to be responsive to questions throughout. So with that, I would like to jump right in, introduce today's presenter. Christy Arango is an undergraduate public policy fellow who's been working with Kids Count in Delaware this summer. She is a public policy major who's about to begin her senior year at UD, and she's got a double minor in Spanish and Latin American studies. Christy is also one of UD's World Scholars. The World Scholars Study Abroad program is an immersive 4-year global engagement program here at UD that focuses on intercultural learning on campus and through 2 semesters abroad. So Christy has studied in Rome, Italy, and in Buenos Aires, Argentina as part of this program. And today she is going to walk us through a tutorial demonstration of what's included in our web-based interactive Kids Count data center and how to navigate that online tool in order to get the data that you need. So with that short introduction, I'll turn things over to you, Christy.
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction. To start off, we're just going to do a general overview of Kids Count in Delaware. So Kids Count, a project of the Annie E. Casey Foundation, is a national and state-by-state effort to track the status of children in the United States. By providing policymakers and citizens with benchmarks of child well-being, Kids Count seeks to enrich local and state discussions concerning ways to secure better lives for all children. The project here in Delaware is a collaborative effort of over 40 organizations that is housed within the Center for Community Research and Service at the University of Delaware. Our signature publication is our annual fact book. The fact book has changed over the years, but has consistently been a comprehensive source for data on our state's children. This year, our fact book evolved yet again. Its data relates to a specific data and policy focus, and the book is no longer the encyclopedia of data on Delaware kids. All of the data formerly reported in the annual fact book will now be accessible in the online Kids Count Data Center, which we will be exploring today together. Because of this change on where you look to get the data you need, we are conducting this live demonstration for how to navigate the data center. So the URL for the data center is as follows: datacenter.kidscount.org. That was datacenter.kidscount.org. And we will be sharing a recording of this demonstration video on the Kids Count in Delaware landing page, so you can refer to it at any point in time. So now we're going to jump straight on to the data center, and you can follow along with me as I go through it. All right. So the Kids Count Data Center offers a number of advantages over a traditional print version publication. First, it will improve access. The interactive online data center works on any screen, and this also means you don't have to carry around a bulky paper copy or navigate a large PDF. Second, it has given us the ability to implement a perpetual calendar for updates. In other words, you'll get newer data sooner. For example, the fact book is traditionally released in April or May of each year. If new data comes out at the end of the academic or fiscal year, you would have had to wait 9 or 10 months to see an update from Kids Count in Delaware, but now you'll be able to update that information. We will be able to update that information real time, and you will have access to it that much sooner. The data center also allows for increased searchability. The site is set up with a no wrong door approach to finding data, meaning we will try to make it as intuitive as possible for you to find what you're looking for, and we'll touch back on that again later on. Another benefit is an improved ability to access data from other Kids Count projects from across the country, as well as national data from the Annie E. Casey Foundation. The data center will serve as a good resource for understanding how we fare as a state compared to others in our vicinity and across the US. It also will showcase contact information. So this is the general data center landing page. If you wish to get to the contact information for the Delaware Kids Count Center, you can go ahead to the right-hand top right corner of the webpage and click the About tab. And this will lead you to the About Kids Count Data Center. And so we're just going to go to the State Kids Count link over there to the left. And we are going to scroll down until we reach Delaware. And we will click on the Kids Count in Delaware link. And this will take us to the About page for the Kids Count in Delaware. So here you have access to all the contact information for Kids Count in Delaware. This is the address of our offices located at the University of Delaware, and then also our phone number, email, website, etc. And if you scroll farther down, you will find various downloadable resources. So I highly recommend that you come back to here and explore this afterwards. And I would just like to quickly note the 2019 Data Center at Delaware at a glance. We'll be coming back to that later on in the presentation. So to continue the demonstration, we're just going to go right back to the Kids Count Data Center homepage. And to go back to that homepage, you can go ahead and click that yellow box at the top left corner. Once you click that, that'll take us right back to this lovely map right here. And so for the focus of this presentation, we will be looking specifically at Delaware. So we're going to go ahead and click on the Delaware link. Now, the data center homepage showcases multiple ways to navigate. It is important to note that when navigating, this top bar right here in gray is for collecting information at the national level. Now, the navigating tools that appear on the left of the page, right here, are specific to the state you have selected. So when searching for data specific to Delaware, always use the search tools on the left of the page. Now, under where it says Delaware Indicators and under Data Provided By, you will see a blue triangle that says National Kids Count and an orange circle that says Kids Count in Delaware. And these little icons will appear next to the indicators listed below here. So you can see them right there. So the blue triangle should be used when interested in national data with state-by-state rankings. And the Annie E. Casey Foundation updates this information with their national data partners. Meanwhile, the orange circle should be used when interested in Delaware or sub-state level data. So Kids Count in Delaware updates these. They are the indicators that would have formerly been found in the annual fact book. This is where I will be focusing our search for today's demonstration. So I should note that our data is categorized into 6 different topics, and you can see these topics listed here on the left of the navigation, to the left here in the navigation tools. And so the 6 different topics are demographics, economic well-being, education, family and community, health, and finally, safety and risky behaviors. When looking at the search tools to the left here, you will notice that there are 3 ways to search for the data you're looking for. There is locations, topics, and characteristics. So first, the location search shows all indicators for that specific location. For example, right now I have Delaware selected in my location search tool. This means I get a very comprehensive list of state-level data for every indicator that we provide. But when you select a smaller physical geography, such as zip code, we're going to go ahead and press that, you will receive a shorter list of indicators. This means there is less data available for a search that is specific to a smaller geographical area. Again, I would like to point out that there is no wrong door. We're going to go back to that. An indicator may be found in multiple places because intuitiveness isn't universal. So right here we see that there's SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and that is under public assistance in the economic well-being topic. But we can also find data on SNAP under health and nutrition. So data is replicated in two places because, again, intuitiveness isn't universal. A second option to search by is by topic. Each topic has subtopics, and shortening the list of subtopics to search will make finding the data you're interested in a little easier to navigate. For example, if I know I want to look at education specifically, I can go ahead and press that. And then here, all the different subtopics under education pop up. So maybe I want to look specifically at test scores. I can uncheck all of the boxes so that the test scores are what appear. The third way to search is by characteristic. These characteristics include age, family nativity, and race/ethnicity. If I were to select age, then the data that appears under each indicator will be related to age. I'm just going to go to see all indicators again. And then I would like to note that there is a search function at the top here under that gray bar. But in order to search, you must know the indicator name. It's not like Google or Bing, so we do suggest that using these left-hand tools are better for navigating when looking for specific indicators. Now, when looking at specific data, after you have performed your search and selected the data you want to explore, you can use built-in tools to create your own data visualizations. So we're going to go ahead and start that part of the presentation. For the sake of this demonstration, I'm just going to select county under locations, and let's say I want to look specifically at education. So I'm just going to click on the first link here that says Early Childhood Education Program Cost by Age. And once I press that link, it'll take me to a page that has the data related to this indicator. Now, first off, there are 4 ways to view the data. The default is the table seen here. And then you also have the option to view it as a map, trends, and a bar graph. We will go through each individually. And sometimes the data can be kind of overwhelming. As you can see here, there's a lot of information to go through. So in order to make it more manageable, you can use the tools to the left of the page to narrow down your search. So right now I have all 3 counties selected, and I'm just going to keep it that way. And then for years, I'm going to uncheck 2017 so that the data I have is only related to 2018. And then let's say I'm looking for early childhood education programs for a 3-year-old. I can uncheck all the other boxes, all the other ages, so that the only one selected is 3 years. So here I see the cost of early childhood education programs for a child that's 3 years old in all 3 counties. So I can compare the costs here. Another way to view this is through a map. So I can go ahead and click that map tab right now. And after selecting that, a map of Delaware appears. And all 3 counties are highlighted a different color. And if I just move my cursor over the counties, I can see the price for their early childhood education program. So here I see in Newcastle, it's $163, in Kent, $133, and in Sussex, $166. A third way to view your data is under the Trends tab. Now, this visualization allows me to compare first the costs in each county, and second, the costs in 2018 and the costs in 2017. So this is a wonderful tool when trying to see how trends change over time. So here I see that in 2017, the cost of early childhood education programs for a child that is 3 years old increased from 2017 to 2018 in Sussex County, but remained relatively the same in Newcastle and Kent County. Finally, I can compare these costs under the bar graph option. And again, here I can compare the costs of early childhood education programs in all 3 counties. Therefore, these tools allow you to create visualization so you can better understand, interpret, and present the data you are searching for. These data visualizations can also be printed, emailed, downloaded, and saved as images. They can be used in presentations, reports, grant applications, testimony, legislation, etc. The options to print, email, and share data visualizations, such as this bar graph, can be found on the top right of the page over here. So the option to print, email, and share. Now you have the option to share on about 180 different social media platforms. So if you're using it, chances are you'll find it here. If you're not seeing the media platform you want to share it on immediately right here and you don't feel like scrolling down through all the options, you can search for it right here. So perhaps you want to share it on AOL. You can go ahead and search for AOL and it'll appear right there. Now the option to download data files can be found directly above the data visualization you have created. And you can access these data files by pressing raw data, and you will download the data files in Excel format. The option to save an image of the visualization is also directly above the visualization right next to raw data. So you can press Save Image, and a pop-up box will appear that will describe how to save the image. Now here's when I want to jump back over to the Map tab to show you a neat little feature we have. So if you try to save an image of this map, you press that link, then you will be given multiple color palettes to choose from so that you can tailor the map to your liking. Finally, if you wish to embed the data visualization in a website or e-news, you can select the link to embed. And again, pop-up instructions will appear and it'll provide you with an HTML code that you can embed on your website. Now, there are a few other details I would like to note. When you click on an indicator, aside from accessing these data visualizations, you will also see at the bottom of the page definitions, our original data source, and also footnotes, which include when the data was last updated. So in this case, it was updated earlier this year. Additionally, if you scroll up, you will always see a section that says why this indicator matters. And essentially this will explain why it is important that we look at this indicator to measure child and family well-being. So now we're going to shift into a different part of this presentation, and to go back to the Delaware homepage, you can just go over here and click Change Indicator. And now we're back to where we started with the Delaware data, right here. So there are also indicators that are comprised of what we term data series. This means there are multiple groups of data that measure the same indicator but cannot be grouped together and compared. So an example of this can be seen through student assessments. So we're just going to jump back to student assessments like we did earlier. And again, I'm just going to go here, press education, and uncheck all the boxes until I get test scores. And we're going to make it specific to Delaware rather than county. All right. We're just going to have to, there we go. So here is the data for test scores. So a data series may be necessary because of a change of methodology, like changes in standardized testing that affects how students are assessed. For example, the assessments have changed from DSTP to DCAS to DESA. Since the state transitioned to different student assessments, the way the indicator is being measured varies. Now, if you have a question as to why the data is in a series, there is a link right here next to the data series. And when you press it, a pop-up box will come up that will explain why this data is presented as a series. Now, data series may also be necessary because of the way answers come back for specific surveys. For example, in our Delaware School Survey and the Youth Risk Behavior Survey conducted by the Center for Drug and Health Studies, it asks kids about their behaviors. When answering, 5th graders may have a yes or no option on a survey. But when 8th or 11th graders are given the same survey, they have different options for their answers, such as little, some, a lot, or always. Again, if you would like to understand why the indicator is comprised of a data series, you have the option to click on the Explain Series link. So we're going to jump to what will be coming soon on the Delaware Data Center. First, data expansion where possible, in particular on community level data. So if we go over here to locations, one of our options is by county subdivision. And if I go ahead and press that, then we reach this. So we have been starting to collect data over the past couple of years, specific to smaller areas and groupings that will make more sense to communities. So I'm just going to press the first link here, which is child population. And again, we reach the default table. And here we can see data specific to smaller geographical areas. And this brings data to a community level. So we have child population in Greater Newark, in Georgetown, in Dover, and so on. Now, to wrap up this presentation, I'm going to take us back to the Delaware About homepage and take you back to that downloadable resource that I mentioned earlier. So we're just going to go back to About, State Kids Count, down to Delaware. All right, so again, I mentioned before, Delaware at a glance. I would be coming back to that. If you press on that link, you get this wonderful resource, which helps you to view, to search, it helps you to look at what indicators we have in a different way. So it shows what indicators we offer, first of all, and then in what topic and under what subtopic. And then it also shows you how we present it. If it's on the Delaware state level, if we can present it by county, if it is presented as a number, a percentage, a rate, or a currency. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the page as well, you can see when it was last updated. So since our data center is constantly changing, we update this about twice a year. So that about wraps up the presentation that I have prepared for all of you. Does anyone have any questions about searching or tools I've shared with you today? Please feel free to unmute yourself or send it in the group chat if you prefer.
So Christy, while others are thinking about maybe what questions they would like to ask, let me ask you one. So if I use some of this data or a visualization in a presentation that I give or a report, do I need to cite the data center, and then what's the convention for that?
Right. So we do ask that acknowledgement is given when you use data from the online data center. When you save an image, instructions for how to cite are provided in the pop-up box. And as a rule, we ask that you use, quote, the Annie E. Casey Foundation, comma, Kids Count Data Center, comma, our URL, datacenter.kidscount.org, end quote, in your citation.
Other questions, please either unmute yourself or, oh, great. No questions here, but very excited about all of the data and the ease at which it can now be accessed. We are really excited too. So if you have additional, thoughts on this, it is a work in progress, and we're pretty proud of how far it's progressed already, and excited to see where else we can take it to. So one more question for you, Christy, is I do use this occasionally, a little more than occasionally, and I know that Instagram is a social media platform that
Yes.
that we use as a project, but it's not listed in the share. So if someone else in the community is using something and wants to share it socially, and it's not one of the 180 that's available, so what do they do? What steps do they take?
All right, so while the list that we have is very comprehensive, the world of social media, of course, is ever changing. There seems to be a new app every day. So if you find that you need access to a platform that we don't already link to, this is when you can reach out to Kids Count in Delaware. Remember the contact, the about page that I have showed us today. And we, as a program staff, will then troubleshoot with our administrative host to keep the tools that you need as up to date as possible. For example, we've brought the Instagram exclusion to the attention of our administrative host, and we hope to have a resolution on that platform soon.
Great, thank you. It's looking like there are no additional questions at this time. First, I want to thank you, Christy, for a very thorough presentation. You did a great job today.
Thank you.
And thank you to our participants for taking the time to join today's webinar. I really do hope you found it useful for understanding how to get the data you need. Should you have questions as you go in and begin to interact with the data center, remember that we're here for you. The contact information is there. Reach out. We are happy to troubleshoot and try to figure things out and help with tips and tricks as we go. So with that, I thank you all again. Have a great rest of your day.